The first repatriation flight from the United States via JetBlue Airlines landed at the Morris Bishop International Airport on Friday with 59 Grenadians on board. The Grenadians, who were stranded due to the closure of borders, were all happy to make the flight and be back on Grenadian soil. The arrival flight was used by the Ministry of Health and the MBIA to test its readiness to reopen the country's borders in the coming weeks. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Francis Martin was on hand to observe the process so that his team can take notes for any adjustments that may be needed.
It is going as planned, with some challenges that we've seen, some bottlenecks that we've seen, and an opportunity to improve. Those are checked, and both myself, the permanent secretary, is here. We're able to identify what are the minor changes that will take place for the reopening. But basically the process is coming in, getting registered, getting your rapid test done, and after the result is gotten, then everyone goes into quarantine. And of course the result is going to be differ depending on the circumstances of each individual. And so this is really what the process is.
He has already spotted some areas that need to be adjusted.
The first entrance, when they get in, the registration and getting hand sanitization before they go on to be tested, that one needs to speed up a little bit. So it probably means working a little bit more in improving the process of our port health officers, what they do at their desks. This is one of the areas. We're not necessarily having to increase numbers of port health officers, but just the process of how they capture the data. That is a major one that I think we need to work on.
Health Minister Honorable Nickolas Steele was also at the arrival launch to welcome the Grenadians and at the same time observe the process.
We are comfortable with this as being a dry run. We see certain things that we do need to make some changes on, so that the wait time is less, that our returning nationals or whoever is coming in are as comfortable as possible, but that we maintain the testing procedures as efficiently and as effectively as possible. So there are some changes that we will make, but in general today, everyone has come in, and within 30 to 40 minutes of starting of testing, everyone has been tested, and individuals are already leaving the testing area because they have received negative test results, proceeding to immigration and customs to then be brought to the quarantine site.
General Manager at the MBIA, Wendy Francette-Williams, is satisfied with the process thus far, as it will direct the way forward for border reopening.
It will help us to work out the capacity in our arrival hall. It will also help us to work out the dwell time standards within the arrival hall to customs and so on, so that in a way we will be able to tell the turnaround times of aircraft moving forward and how we'll be able to plan our master schedule moving forward. So this is a very instrumental exercise for us today. It's our first big flight in terms of arrival, not departure, but arrival. And this arrival flight will be our base flight in planning and moving ahead with planning for the future.
All 59 repatriated Grenadians were interviewed and tested before going through to immigration process and customs, and then to the awaiting transportation to take them to their quarantine facility. Later in the newscast, we have reactions from a few of those who returned home on Friday. It was all smiles for 59 Grenadians who made the first repatriation flight home from the U.S. since the closure of the country's borders on March 22nd, 2020, due to the threat of COVID-19. Before heading into the arrival launch after passing through the sanitization chamber, Michael Straley, Augustus Joseph and Michael Smith all spoke of their joy to be home, thanking the government for its efforts.
It is so wonderful to be here. I'm just overwhelmed. I've been away for 3 months and I can't, that's all. Thank you. Thank you for the government of Grenada for getting us home.
I went up for 6 weeks and I spent four months. And the best thing could ever happen to me, I'm back home. and the best. I love to see how you all set it up. I was supposed to come back on the 2nd of April, and I just get here. That's the best feeling for 4 months. Yes, I'm glad. Protecting me.
It's awesome to be home. We long awaited to come back, and now we're here.
I'm quite impressed with the embassy and the government here in what they did in organizing this flight for us. I'm very much happy to be home. Well, I'm a law-abiding citizen, and it's of paramount importance that I follow the laws of the land, and I will follow the protocols out here and adhere to all the laws of the land.
But while these Grenadians were happy to be home, two visitors, Jonathan Lowe and Keith Robinson, were sad to leave the country. They both were part of the 16 non-nationals who left the country via the JetBlue flight that brought home the repatriated Grenadians.
I've been in Grenada since March 9th. Yes and no. I had a place to stay. I was staying with my girlfriend, and I decided to cancel my flight due to the outbreak in the States, and it seemed like at the time there was less cases here, so I wanted to stay where it was a little bit safer. I don't want to go because I love it here, but besides that, I'm excited to go home and see my family. I'm not excited about coronavirus, but we're taking all the precautions. It looks like the airport's being safe as well, so I feel comfortable flying.
We arrived December 3rd. We wanted to leave May 4th, and we weren't able to. So we actually had 2 other flights booked, but they were canceled. So we just were patient until we got this news from the embassy, and we're taking advantage of it. I'm pretty happy. I'm ready to go home just because it's home, but I love Grenada, and we're coming back November 1st.